Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Yes. So we had a comment. I forget, was it Jeff that had said that he preferred Spiritual Sunday to News Monday?
He did. Yes, he did. But we don't really pay attention to what we're doing. So sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, truthfully, we go by whatever we're inspired by on a
Yes.
day-to-day basis. So sometimes there's things that come out and, they're not things that we're anticipating. It's
Right.
just things that come to us. And, we've had some amazing discussions lately with people that we've been working on and with. And one of the things that amazes me is how the use of mantras truly, it's just like picking up a phone and dialing in a being that's on a higher vibrational density than us and that will communicate with us. They will communicate. They will help us if we ask. Again, you have to ask and ye shall receive. I've shared with you guys, like, it's my regular habit that I do 10 different mantras every day, which is kind of different than what's typically given. In traditions, it's kind of traditional to have one mantra you focus on, but I'm very eclectic. And as Cindy has said, you have a lot of different guides and a lot of different lineages. And so it feels right to me. So there's 10 different mantras connecting me with 10 different aspects of divinity, so to speak, that I do pretty much every single day. And then some days I won't know which one's going to call out to me more than others because it can vary. And so yesterday when I was going through the mantra to Tara, and Tara is known in many forms. And here you see the green Tara mantra, which we've done a video on Tara before. It's in the mantra section. And there's going to be more in this than just Tara, though Tara is amazing. But I just wanted to give this to you guys because this could really, it's like picking up a phone and dialing in. Om Tare Tutare Tere Svaha. And in Tibetan Buddhism, this mantra is an ancient mantra. It's related to Tara, the mother of all the Buddhas, especially her manifestation as green Tara. Tara, who Tibetans also call Doma, is commonly thought to be a bodhisattva or Buddha of compassion and action, and a protector who comes to our aid to relieve us of physical, emotional, and spiritual suffering. And Tara is absolutely benevolent. And there is a version of the Dalai Lama here doing it. In Tibetan style, it's all about the vibrations. So it's harder to make it out as far as the mantra goes. And this is a very popular version of it by Deva Premal, who has one of the nicest voices in the world, and her husband, amazing beings. So I'll give you guys all those links. But Tara came through to Cindy. I could feel her when I'm doing the mantra. All of a sudden, I feel this very familiar feeling in my crown chakra, goes down to the third eye chakra, and I know that she's communicating with us. Mm-hmm. And so, I have an amazing wife and partner here who is, in my mind, one of the most unique souls incarnate on the planet in these times. And I said to Cindy, I said, somebody's communicating big time, and is it Tara?
Oh, yeah, she did. She did come through, and she's talking about how in these times, how we are going to need to learn to be understanding our own DNA lineage, listening to our DNA to learn processes and things when it comes to energy work and teaching people how to do energy work. There's really we're coming to a point where there's no cookie cutter way of doing things. It's coming to a point where everybody has these different lineages, and they're going to have different inklings, and they're going to have different thoughts and different tendencies. And she's wanting us to tell you guys to listen to those thoughts, listen to those tendencies, because this is your ancient DNA rising to the surface and becoming becoming who you are now in this day and age. So it's very, very important to listen to those tendencies.
Yes, and we come from many different star lineages as well. So recognize that, there's many people with Pleiadian lineage, and then as we have shared with you guys, we had gotten from Yeshua that Yeshua is of basically Pleiadian and Arcturian, and the Arcturians are the masters of DNA. They are the masters of the biological programming, so to speak, and very high vibrational beings that, from what we experienced, they mostly reside in sixth density. And yeah, sixth density is where you're coming into unity consciousness and collectives. And they work that way. They're like cells in a perfectly functioning, harmonious system of our body, so to speak, all of them operating together symbiotically for the greater purpose. And that's what we're heading towards. And unfortunately, as we can see in this this system that we have quite so often, it's more like, everything is operating in a disharmonious way, sometimes even, directly competing and acting more like viruses and plagues upon the land instead of harmonious cells. But we're going to the place that is all about the fourth chakra, the Anahata chakra. It's the heart center. And so, again, go back to the burning bush incident, and Moses saying, "Who sent me? I am that I am." Well, that's all the I am center. That's the solar plexus chakra. That's that three and third D thinking, so to speak. Me, I. Now it's becoming more of a we. We're heading towards that we-ness as we move up into the heart center, the heart chakra. So important. And what Cindy was saying, one of the things that's going to go completely, and there's no place for, is dogma, because dogma divides. And we're going to a place where you're to cultivate your own experience. You are a beautiful manifestation of source. And one of the things we have to get through our minds and our hearts is that's perfect. As you see this quote from the Buddha, do not believe in anything simply because you have heard it. Do not believe in anything simply because it's spoken and rumored by man. Do not believe in anything because it's found written in your religious books. Do not believe in anything merely on the authority of your teachers and elders. Do not believe in traditions because they have been handed down for many generations. But after observation and analysis, when you find anything that agrees with reason and is conducive to the good and benefit of one and all, then accept it and live up to it. This is where we're going. And, it's not a one size fits all. So, in relation to energy work, I use things that I learned through studying pranic healing, Qigong, Reiki, quantum touch, many other different forms. But I do my own thing, and it's just evolved past that. I don't even use a prescribed system, so to speak. I do have a tendency to go down certain things in a certain order just because they seem to be more effective typically, but I'll always listen and get what feels right for that individual, because again, one size doesn't fit all. We're all unique expressions of source. Source resides in all of us. And that's the way it's supposed to be. We're graduating out of kindergarten here, and we're going up to a place where, we're going to be putting on our big boy and big girl pants. We're not going to necessarily be led around on a leash anymore. We're going to not follow things because they were given to us, as Buddha has said, on down the line through different traditions, believing in something blindly without testing it, without feeling it, without experiencing other things. Compare, contrast, explore. This is all part of what the whole manifest universe is. And don't be afraid to be your own unique expression of that.
Right, absolutely. That's really important to remember. And and listen to your heart, listen to your intuition. We are definitely changing in these times. So, we just can't express enough how important it is that you find your system, what works for you. There are some basic, givens when it comes to universal law. There's certain things that, certain things with karma still are effective, but when it comes to you and how you heal and how you work on yourself, or how you work on others, your modality, start listening to your heart.
Yes, being guided by the heart. And again, look to what's good and beneficial for one and all. And that right away throws out the window anything that has an exclusivity to it. The whole concept of a chosen people, for instance, that's elitist, is it not? Of course it is, to think that the creator of everything has one chosen people out of the entire multiverse. No, there again, it's not like that. The source basically sets things in motion and lets them be, lets them go along their own path. Source itself does not look to judge and punish us. There are cosmic laws like the law of cause and effect that we could look at as karma. What you put out there, what you sow, ye shall reap. It's pretty simple. It's just a basic natural law, as we said, of cause and effect. It's not a vindictive God that's just waiting and can't wait to punish people and send them into everlasting hellfire. Again, these type of philosophies we've been handed on down from powers that be in order to control the minds and the hearts of the people, in order to bend them to their will and keep them from realizing their potential. Because ultimately, yeah, we're all co-creators here. We're all co-creators. And when we get to that 51st percentage, and if we had 51% saying, Galactic Federation, come help us get rid of the plague upon the land. Well, because of free will, at that point, with the collective desiring that, they could actually help. But the benevolent ones won't help in that direct form if it interferes with human free will. Free will is it's something that is just, it should be a given. Yet that's how they manipulate us to give away our free will. So it's not our will, but their will being done.
Right. And they take these systems and they find a way to make money off of them. There's always a way to make money off it. As long as you have a system to sell, as long as you have something, to sell, there's somebody who's going to buy. And that's the thing that we are working on transitioning away from. But in the midterm, we all need some sort of energetic exchange. There has to be an energy exchange. But forever moving forward, it doesn't always have to be something that gets sold.
Yeah, as we've talked about before, the monetary system is one of the ways that they control us. And again, it should be an energy exchange, an energy exchange, as Cindy was saying. So what does that look like? Well, it could look like, you're skilled in this one area, somebody else is skilled in another. You're a mechanic, somebody else is a nurse. You exchange services. You're a farmer, somebody else has cows, and you're growing potatoes, and you exchange milk for the potatoes. It's that simple, barter and trade exchange. It even works that way on these higher densities. And we're in a slave-based system. Again, it's a slave system that we see here. The monetary system's all about enslaving us and keeping us from being able to fully express ourselves, our creativity. Can you even comprehend a world where you didn't have to go to work, where you were able to just do that which made your heart sing? And it's something that many of us can't even relate to. Think about it. If you could pursue things that were just pure pleasure to yourself. And that might be training and working out for one person. That might be music for another. For another, it might be something like computer programming or writing or making baskets, the culinary arts. It could be something different for everybody. And that's wonderful because, again, we're all unique expressions of Source. And Source is not looking to punish us. We punish ourselves by creating this negative karmic loop, by allowing ourselves to be pulled into lower vibrational frequencies. The key to the Anahata chakra and is basically cultivating the feelings of love and compassion, as Tara is all about love and compassion. And that will lead to the free flow of energy upwards. I recognized for a while my first blockage was at the sacral chakra. And then the energy started to flow through there. This is going back like 3 decades or more. The energy flew through there better, and I was starting to be able to see auras and see energy and see the life force. And then, working through the heart chakra, I was able to get much clearer pictures and messages from the guides than I had previously. The heart chakra is the juncture point between the 3 upper and the 3 lower chakras. Also, one of the keys to developing the Merkaba, and the Merkaba is what allows us to get up and into the 5th density and even higher densities than that. For this is the true vehicle of the light body. It's all about developing your Merkaba. That's how you get your wings, so to speak. When we see the halos around saints, that's the open crown chakra, and that connectivity to our higher self and to the heavenly realms, the very, very high densities. And if your Kundalini is activated, your chakra is opened in the first place, Kundalini activation, start to develop the Merkaba, the light body, then you're not going to be trapped in these lower 3-4 density loops that we have seen. There are many ascended masters that are waiting to help us. And again, one size doesn't fit all. And not even, it's not the case that you have to just ask for help from one all the time. You might be inspired all of a sudden to reach out to Sananda or to Saint Germain or to Yeshua or to Babaji or to Buddha or to Tara, or it goes on and on and on. These different beings that have already kind of been there and done this. You could view it as these are gurus on other densities that are ready to help us. And ultimately, it's all about the expression of divine love from the divine masculine and the divine feminine, as we see here exemplified by Krishna and Radha or Radhe. But we could also see that in Yeshua and Mary as well. As we've shared with you guys, we've gotten from Yeshua what others have gotten in the past too. That, the relationship with Mary was a natural one. It was most definitely a full relationship.
With children and everything.
With children and everything. And, she was exemplifying, again, the divine feminine. So, we see that similarity between Krishna and Radha. We see it with Yeshua and Mary, Shiva and Shakti. It's all that interaction between the different energies, the yin and the yang. It's all part of the Tao. And as we've said before, the Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. And that Tao is what we're talking about when we're talking about Source, because Source is beyond any single name. Anything that can take just one single name is not Source. And Source is something that is to be experienced from all different perspectives. That's the beauty of this.
It really is, and the more that we can start to let that sink in and kind of chew on that from a soul perspective, the more we can free ourselves from the society and everything that keeps us chained down.
Yeah, and so many are locked into fear-based systems of thought, fear-based philosophies that are all centered around punishment and dogma. And it's a thing that is going to pass. It's not the future. It's a lower vibrational mindset. Pure love is not going to give you those type of fear-based emotions. It's expansive. Again, just cultivate a feeling of loving gratitude, thankfulness, and kindness, and feel the energy around you heading outward.
Mm-hmm.
And then think about fear of punishment. What happens? You contract. It's the exact opposite of love. One of the best sermons I ever heard was done by a pastor, and this was when I was in, I think I was in North Carolina. I can't even remember now. No, South Carolina. But he's a pastor in Texas now. And it was done on Easter, and it was talking about how the opposite of love is not hate, but it's fear. So then, how could the fear of God ever lead to love? It's just illogical. And no matter how they want to couch it or dress it up with, well, it's just a divine mystery, or you have to have the Holy Spirit to understand this. No, if you have the Holy Spirit, the true Shekinah, the true love of the life force, the true divine feminine energy that rolls through our hearts and electrifies us, that sits dormant in the base of the spine in most people. But once your Kundalini is activated, then it can go on up through all the chakras, activating us, turning us into true multidimensional beings, able to operate on more than one density. Then it will unite again with the Shiva, which is that which is not, as just consciousness in an unmanifested aspect. And so that union of Shakti with Shiva is what it's all about. And that brings about the manifest universe that we see here.
So all of this basically, it kind of spirals back down to become personified for us so we can understand it.
Exactly. And just like with the different devas, for instance, the different ascended masters, you might feel that you gravitate towards one more than another. That's perfectly fine. We have many teachers throughout our life. If we were students and we just stayed with one particular teacher and hey, we might get to be a master at math, but know nothing about language or nothing about other arts and other skills. That's why it's natural to have more than one teacher. It's fear-based to believe that there's only one path, other than the fact that the only true path is that of love and of compassion. And that is what Yeshua was trying to get across with Christ consciousness, christened consciousness, the anointed consciousness. And Santos Bonacci has talked about that anointing being the craniosacral fluid, and again referring that to the third eye awakening, where we can actually start to activate and see these higher facilities. And as I've shared before, and I will probably shortly upload a video talking about the declassified CIA documents that verify that these things are real. These psychic powers, these paranormal powers are not paranormal at all. They're just dormant in most people. But in these times, they're coming to life, and that's the beauty of it. And so the old, outmoded forms of thought, the limiting, restricted forms of thought, we will shed. And as we shed them, we will rise up into the higher realms.
Mm-hmm. And we'll learn a lot of new things about ourselves, and we'll make some discoveries. Some of those things might be a little bit disturbing. We might have to resettle ourselves, understanding that things aren't always as we thought that they were.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of work going on right now, and a lot of people are most definitely working through their shadow sides, so to speak, and going through a lot of turmoil, processing and purging. It can be, in these times, it can actually be very, very physically uncomfortable, as we have talked about before, where emotions that you have not been able to deal with literally do get placed in certain locations on the body. And if they're left there for too long, dis-ease can become disease and can lead to actual physical ailments. And so right now, everything is accelerating, and the purge is accelerating as well. So most definitely take care of your mind, body, and spirit. Cindy and I, we don't eat a lot of processed food. I would say we eat 98% not processed foods. only occasionally having something that's quote unquote processed. And we're transitioning now into more, again, live foods, basing things mostly like starting out with shakes that are made out of fresh live juices, adding beautiful things to it like maca and chia seeds, and so many goodies like turmeric and ginger, and on and on. Think anti-inflammatory, think nutrient dense, chlorella, spirulina, moringa, all these beautiful things that can help our body. Think more in terms of allowing your body to get what it needs in these times. It's critical because the acceleration of the ascension process is well underway, and things are really speeding up.
Absolutely. And go organic as much as possible.
Yes, and again, we don't need as much as we might think we need. So, I've seen specials, blackberries, for instance, 2 for $4, quote unquote conventional, or one package for $4.99. I grabbed the one package. I don't need any more pesticides and chemicals and GMO. None of us do. So, keep that in mind, guys, because these times are definitely, they're not easy, but they're leading to a much better place.
Absolutely.
So thank you for being part of the family. Make sure you're subscribed to both channels, have the bell clicked. Thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. We couldn't do it without all you guys out there on Patreon and Ko-Fi helping to support the channel. If you need to make an appointment, it's EEARTS at protonmail.com or evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail.com. Stay prepared. Keep up with your daily spiritual practice. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.